Hello, my name is Katrina Nickel. My speech tonight is on homelessness awareness in America. My specific reason for doing this speech is to awaken my classmates to the growing need for our homeless society. You may be next. As a direct result of the recession, the homelessness in America will raise another estimated 1.5 million people. That's on top of the already vast amount of homeless. I will help you to understand why we have so many homeless. I will give you information on where they are the greatest, and I will help you to better understand why our need is as great as other countries. Defining someone is not only a lack of understanding on our part, but also a lack of understanding by society as a whole. A definition of someone only helps you to see but a small part of that person, and therefore your first impression, they say, is your lasting one. If you take a look around you, you would be hard-pressed to come up with more than a handful of people whom you truly know. By that, the meaning is not always clear as to whether someone is homeless or not. The reason, they will tell you what they feel comfortable in telling you, but certainly not if they're homeless. To say one is homeless is not only humiliating but degrading to them, in that they must have been on drugs or they can't hold a job because they drink too much. It's often what society says about them, and they're being homeless in their presence, no less. This is not always the case. The general statement used to define the homeless is one who lacks a fixed, regular, adequate nighttime residence. Quoted from the PBS show June 26, 2009. Although it goes on to say that different definitions of homelessness are used in different contexts. The word homeless is defined in Webster's dictionary as having no home or permanent place of residence. The interesting part is that it is used as an adjective, not a noun, as some have assumed. One is homeless due to many things as you can come up with, plus more. Though the reasons are many, the outcomes are devastating and sometimes confusing. Some of the reasons may be due to the lack of affordable housing, poverty, and the unemployment rate. As the recession hit in 2008-2009, it made an impact of unheard proportions by displacing millions of people from their homes. That by far has been the main cause of homelessness to date. There are also the reasons that many think as the norm for homelessness, which are substance abuse, mental illness, and lack of affordable housing. Though these hit people of all ages, races, and nationalities, it is known that these affect primarily single African Americans more often. Here's the breakdown. 49% of the homeless are African American, 40% are veterans, 39% are Caucasian, 13% are Hispanic, 4% are Native American, and 2% are Asian. These figures are based on a 2006 study by the U.S. Conference of Mayors and do not include the 1.5 million mentioned earlier. In the report, State of Homelessness in America 2011, reported by the National Alliance to End Homelessness and released in January 2011, they did a study on the states and found that 31 out of 50 states, including District of Columbia, had increases in their homeless counts by 3%. In addition, they found that Louisiana was the largest increase, with their homeless population doubling, and that the family household, which is considered a subpop, increased at 4% nationwide, which when broken down amounts to 3,200 households more than that in 2008. Numbers of homelessness are hard to ascertain because of the reports that individual states, cities, and counties give. Though it may not be totally accurate, it is the only way we have to tell how many are actually homeless in any given year. The worst of these states that have outnumbered all others thus far are California, Florida, and Nevada. This is such because they have disproportionately impacted by the recent housing crisis due to the recession. These numbers are astounding when you look at the history of homelessness in this country since the Great Depression. That too was a horrible time with unaffordable housing, lack of jobs, low wages, and the homelessness in America has skyrocketed. Now, take that into consideration and the fact that we have been told that this recession was even worse than that of the 20s. Many people in states across this nation have suffered in their fight to keep their homes, jobs, and health insurance and lost. Florida and California have what they call tent cities. Tents in Florida are California tents seen under overpasses of freeways. With these tent cities set up, you might be thinking to yourself that will sustain the homeless for a while, or rather, see, we are doing something. I'm here to tell you that in itself is just not enough. We as a country help to build houses, churches, schoolhouses, and the like for the other countries. Why can't we take that knowledge base, that money, that volunteerism, and build for our homeless? We need in this country. We hurt in this country. We are homeless in this country. Our numbers of homeless has only been on the rise since 2008, and our governments, our systems that are set up are not working. They lag behind in housing, or Section 8 as we know it, on average of years. What are those people with children supposed to do for 3 years? That is how they end up on the street for 8 to 10 years. Because when the 3 years is up, they have to wait again. This is what they're told. Your need is not as great as some of those who came later than you. You only have 2 kids, while others have had 4 or 5. Or there are still no openings for you at this time. The government seems to gather those who will go out to other countries and are able to fill their needs, wants, health, and nutrition issues, but here in the States we lack. Why? Well, if you are ever to ask that question, you will be told one of 2 things. I just work here. Take that up with your congressman. Or we do help those that are in dire need. How much more in dire need is a family on the streets with no food, no permanent residence, no clothing, no insurance, and have outlived their welcome at the local shelter? Those that are in other countries, of course, are no better off than we are. However, they have the hope and sometimes the assurance that the Americans will come build for us and make it better. We have no such hope. Even the Habitat for Humanity is only helping those that have good credit, a job, an address to send information to, and a phone number to where they can be reached. Here's a little story of a family that has been homeless and has tried the system out firsthand. Husband and wife have 5 kids. Husband loses his job because of an automobile accident he was in and can no longer work. Wife has to then take care of the husband because since it was the other guy's fault, there is a lawsuit and the doctors won't touch him. Since she has to take care of him, she can no longer work, which is because 1, she has no car, and 2, her husband is broken back and needs her help at least. Financial situation faltering, and eventually after 8 months, they lose their house. They have 5 kids, no home, no jobs, and no answers. The spiraling effect has begun. Now they are homeless. They tried to get Section 8 housing and were told the same thing as everyone else. There are no available units at this time, and you must have a minimum waiting period of 6 months just to process your paperwork. Of course, the wait has been very long, up to 4 years now, so if you want to put your name on the list, we will contact you. They tried Habitat for Humanity, but because their credit was less than perfect because of the foreclosure, and neither of them had jobs or a place to stay, Habitat for Humanity could not possibly help them until these things were in place. And so the frustration begins. Well, to get the job, you need a place of residence and a phone number where you can be reached. To get the residence, you need a job and a number where you can be reached. To get the phone, you need the credit and residence to send your bill to. I wonder if people in other countries have to go through this too. After 10 years, the family has become somewhat independent, but not without problems with the kids. Depression, bipolar, diabetes, panic attacks, scared of leaving the nest, and many anger issues. Hopefully we all have come away with a better understanding of homelessness in America. We now know the estimation of how many are homeless, what the definition of homelessness is, the fact that 31 out of 50 states are suffering with increasing homelessness, and also the understanding that we are in desperate need of help here in America. May you be called to action with this speech. May you go out into your communities and do what you can with your abilities to help. I would like to let you know that you know someone who has been homeless and is recovering still as we speak. That person in the story of husband and wife and 5 kids was our family. Remember that you could be next, or as a learned woman once told me, you are but a paycheck away from homelessness. In our case, it was one automobile accident. Don't sit and do nothing. Talk to people. Talk to your congressman about changing the issues discussed in a speech. Take with you a piece of information and turn it into something big for a homeless child, vet, or an adult. We are all called to action, and maybe we can then help other countries, and they will believe us and trust us because of what we have done in the wake of our recession and the downfall that
come with it. Now you know, what will you do? Thank you.